All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, and welcome to episode 98 of the WMMA Scene Report, our regular show where we go over everything that's going on within the world of women's divisions of mixed martial arts. Tonight, we're going to be going over Invicta on AXS, the first event of the new era for Invicta FC. Might have a special guest coming in later to preview it. That's up to him, but We'll see in a little bit. But anyway, let's get down to where we always start with this past weekend's results. So first up, we're going to LFA 107. Had one ladies bout that I covered. At strawweight, Alandria Brown defeated Shania Arredondo via submission due to rear naked choke. 3 minutes, 54 seconds of the third round. Brown climbed to 1-0. Arredondo fell to 0-1. I actually missed LFA last weekend. I can't even remember why. So I can't really comment on this fight too much. Then over on Combate Global, in the co-main event, Ana Palacios on the right there defeated Yahaira Cunningham via unanimous decision at strawweight. Palacios climbed to 5-1. Cunningham fell to 2-2. You know, I want to watch Combate because their events are always like action-packed and fun. It's just they air at like 12:30 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's like Friday night / Saturday morning. I got to get up in a few hours. I can't. I wish they aired at a better time, and they're on Univision. No habla español for me. Then Saturday morning, one championship dangle. Had two ladies bouts. First up at a 128-pound catch weight, Ayaka Miura on the left there defeated Hayani Bastos via submission due to scarf hold Americana. Miura climbed to 11-3. Bastos fell to 4-1. Fourth win in one championship for Miura, all by scarf hold Americana. Most likely, I think she's due the next title shot. The champion of her division, Xiao Jingnan, defends against Michelle Nicolini next Friday on the 28th at One Empower. I'd like to see Miura face the winner of that one. Then down at one's atomweight division, B. Nguyen defeated Ritu Phogat via split decision. Nguyen on the right there. B climbed to 6-6. Ritu fell to 4-1. So I actually just went over this in a live stream last night. I went over it, round by round, did the commentary for it. So talked about the contentious split decision. So can't really, it was a good fight. It was all right. It was fun. So Richard Cruz, Tiani Bell and Catherine Paparaki make weight. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any news on it. I hope so. Let's see. Then moving along to Saturday night at UFC 262, had three ladies bouts. Yes, three ladies bouts. First up, Priscilla Cachoeira defeated Gina Mazzani via KO standing TKO. 4 minutes 51 seconds of the second round. Cachoeira climbed to 10-3. Mazzani fell to 7-5. Yeah, Mazzani just too exhausted. Gassed herself out wrestling, and then stood right there in front of Cachoeira. And you can't stand in front of someone like Priscilla Cachoeira. She's going to throw heavy bombs, and they're going to hit. And Mazzani paid the price for it. Then also at flyweight, Andrea Lee defeated Antonina Shevchenko via submission due to triangle armbar. 4 minutes, 52 seconds of the second round. That was a really brutal straight armbar in the from the triangle choke position. I mean, didn't think Lee was going to be able to get the finish. I mean, she tried the choke, tried the sub, didn't get too many, and then went for that armbar and got it, and it was nasty. So good job, Andrea Lee. Lee climbed to 12-5. Shevchenko fell to 9-3. And then up on the main card, Katlyn Chookagian defeated Viviane Araújo via unanimous decision. Chookagian climbed to 16-4. Araújo fell to 10-3. This is a bit of a contentious decision too. Definitely could have gone. I mean, it really just depends on how you score it and what you score more heavily. Part of the problem with the 10-point must system is that, it's round by round, and it all depends on what round you score for which fighter. Phil Anderson asks, what do you think of the ref? I thought it was an all right stand-up. I mean, she wasn't doing anything with it. So, I mean, you could argue that stand-up gave Mazzani, gave Cachoeira the win. But I don't think Mazzani was going to recover that much between rounds enough to survive in the third round. So, I mean, it's a lot of what ifs. Okay, so one more event. Shudo was on Sunday morning, aired live on abima.tv, had 4 ladies bouts. First up at strawweight, Noriko Ryu on the right-hand side there defeated Momoka Hoshiyama via TKO to ground and pound, minute 47 seconds of the second round. Ryu climbed to 1-0. Hoshiyama fell to 0-1. Nice finish there for Noriko Ryu. Nice pro debut. And then after 2 rounds in the super atomweight division, 110 pounds, Yuki Ono and Chihiro Sawada ended in a draw. So Sawada, I believe I gave the first round to Sawada and then the second round to Ono. So no surprise they ended in a draw. Japan and Korea make me mad because they have the ladies' bouts still at 2 rounds apiece. And that's going to happen a lot. You're going to get a lot of draws with only 2-round fights. And then also at super atomweight, Miku Nakamura defeated Kyu Kitano via TKO due to corner stoppage. 3 minutes, 7 seconds of the second round. Nakamura climbed to 4-4, evened her record out. Kitano fell to a 500 record of 3-3. Pretty sure Nakamura broke Kyu Kitano's nose. It was pretty busted looking, pretty bloody. I mean, it wasn't like an MVP level of nose smashing, but it looked pretty busted up. So I don't blame Kitano's corner for throwing in a towel there. And then finally, also at super atomweight, 110 pounds, Megumi Sugimoto defeated Miki Koyama via submission due to rear naked choke, minute 31 seconds of the first round. Sugimoto climbed to 6-3. Hiyama fell to 0-8. So I knew that going in that this was an absolute can crushing. But, I mean, it looked even worse than it did on paper. I mean, Hiyama just, I don't know. Maybe she knew she was going in there to straight up lose. I mean, she looked scared, terrified to be in there, and just gave no offense whatsoever. Sugimoto just put her away quick. So, I mean, at least it was a merciful stoppage. So that's it for the weekend review. So let's move on into the news. Not a whole lot going on in the news, so I'll go ahead and try to get through it as quick as I can, and then we'll move on to the rankings updates and whatnot. First up, UFC has an event going down August 14th, yet to be named. They added a flyweight bout. Ji-yeon Kim taking on Molly McCann. Korean boxing versus English boxing. Sign me up for this one. I like these. These 2 fighters both come to bang. They come to throw leather. Sign me up for this one. I'd watch this fight, any day of the week. Second straight, slugfest should be, or what should be a slugfest for Ji-yeon Kim. Then some one championship news with Ritu Phogat out of the women's atomweight Grand Prix after the loss to B. Nguyen. One championship newcomer, Julie Meza Barba, who carries a record of 8-2-1 out of Brazil, is now slated to face Monbo. That goes down at One Championship Empower next Friday morning. So Meza Barba, not too impressive of a record. I mean, 8-2-1 is okay, but it's the level of competition that just doesn't look that great. Then Octagon 24 goes down May 29th in the Czech Republic. They added a strawweight bout. Magdalena Sormova coming in at 10-3, taking on an opponent to be announced. If you haven't watched an Octagon event, they're an online pay-per-view. Give one a shot. They're fun events, just really fun, really nice production levels as well. definitely check them out. Oh, and English commentary. So give it a try. Then a UFC event slated for July 31st. They have 2 strawweight bouts added. First up, Gloria DePaula coming in 5-3, taking on Cheyenne Bays coming in at 5-2. That should be a good one there. I'm not as high on DePaula as I was coming off of the Dana White Contender Series. I mean, she showed a big weakness against Jin Yu Fry with her takedown defense and ability off of her back. But it's going to really be tested against Cheyenne Bays as well, because Bays likes to slug it out on her feet, but she's a wrestler first. So that should be this is a big, important test for DePaula. And then also at strawweight, Ashley Yoder coming in 8-7, taking on Jin Yu Fry coming in 10-6. This was originally slated to be against Estela Nunez, Jin Yu Fry versus Estela Nunez. And then within like 2 days, the announcement came out that due to visa issues, Nunez is not going to be able to make it. I mean, the event's not until July. Must be some weird paperwork going on there. But these are 2 fighters that neither of them can afford to lose right now. I mean, I think Yoder's on a losing streak, and Fry is only 1-2 in the UFC, so both of them really need this win coming in. Richard says that reach might be enough for Kim. Yeah, that's one thing about Jeon Kim. She has really long arms, really nice reach. Thinks Bays beats DePaula. And then Phil Anderson says fight rooting for Jin Yu Fry. Yeah, it's hard. I like both Yoder and Jin Yu Fry, but it's really hard for me to root against, the natural atom weight. Yeah, she's going to look small. Yeah. Then XFC Young Guns 2 goes down. Oh, looks like next Friday, May 28th, they added a flyweight bout. Autumn Newcomb making her debut against fellow debutante Addie Ballinger. Then MMA Series 33, goes down Saturday, May 29th in Russia. A flyweight bout between Victoria Sklyarova coming in at 2-3, taking on the debuting Diana Vorobieva. And then Fusion Fight League goes down June 12th. They added a bantamweight main event. Invicta, a couple of Invicta veterans. Serena De Jesus, 2-2, taking on Invicta and UFC veteran Elizabeth Phillips coming in at 7-7. So not the prettiest of records going in there, but hey, it's a ladies bantamweight main event. So we'll have to see if I can check that one out. And then KSW 61 goes down June 5th. They added a flyweight bout. Carolina Avzar is coming in at 3-1, taking on Monica Kusic coming in at 1-0. And then this one I just found out about like within a half hour before the broadcast. UFC 266 goes down September 4th, so it's a bit of a ways away. But they added a bout, and I'm not sure if this is at flyweight or bantamweight, but Erin Blanchfield taking on Sarah Alpar. So Blanchfield was supposed to make her UFC debut at bantamweight against Norma Dumont, and then Dumont missed weight by a bunch, so her fight got canceled. So I'm not sure if this is going to be at bantamweight as well, or if both of these ladies are going to be down at flyweight. It could be Blanchfield is just going to stay at bantamweight. I mean, she's only 21, so she might still be growing into her frame more. Might decide that bantamweight suits her better. Got to get that caffeine. All right, so that is it for the news for this week. So let me just get this out of the way here. And let's talk about some rankings updates. So some UFC ranking changes. Go ahead and enlarge it. At flyweight, so Jessica I moves up 1 spot as Viviane Araújo moves down 1 spot off of her loss to Katlyn Chookagian. I is on a bit of a losing streak there, but she does hold a win over Araújo. So not too upset with that one. This one is a bit weird to me. Antonina Shevchenko moved down 3 spots from 12 to 15 off of a loss to 11th ranked Andrea Lee. Okay, you want to move someone down off of a loss? I don't have a problem with that, but 3 spots off of a loss to someone ranked higher, That's a bit weird. Meanwhile, you got Tyler Santos moving up from 13 to 12. And then Miranda Maverick moving up 2 slots from 15 up to 13. And she's slated to face Macy Barber. So now Maverick is ranked higher than Barber. So that's a bit of a weird one. So that is it for your rankings update. Let's move into Richard Cruz says Santos is a beast. She is. So let me see here. Before I move into the weekend preview here, I want to try to do something real quick. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Okay, in case our guest does decide to show up, I went ahead and sent him the invite. So I'm actually going to move things out of order here. So we are going to move into the weekend preview. First up, we're going to look at LFA 108. And we have a strawweight bout. Tiani Vali taking on Catherine Paprocki. Let's see. Vali coming in at 3-2. Paprocki coming in at 2-1. So very close records here. Vali coming off a loss to Brittany Cloudy at flyweight a little over a year and a half ago. Before that, she was on 2 wins. Paprocki coming off a loss to Emily Ducote at XFN via rear naked choke submission. That was, it's been a while since she fought. 2 years, 3 months. Before that, though, she was undefeated in MMA as a pro, including a win in Invicta. Paprocki's the elder fighter, 28 to 26. Vali is 1 inch taller, 5 feet 4 inch, 163 centimeters to Paprocki's 5 feet 3 inch, 160 centimeters. No reach listed for Vali. Paprocki is listed at 65 inch, 165 centimeter reach. That means her reach is literally longer than she is tall. So Paprocki's got some long, lanky arms there. I'm gonna go off a hunch on this one. Vali might be coming off. I mean, both are coming off a loss, but Vali's been more active or active more recently than Paprocki has. So I'm going to go with Vali based on that. I mean, that they're both going to be coming in rusty, but Paprocki's should be even, rustier. So we're going to go with Tiani Vali. So I'm going to exit out here real quick. I'm going to go out of order real quick. And I'm going to skip over Invicta for now and go to Bellator. So Bellator 259 goes down tomorrow night out of Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. 4 ladies bouts on the card. First up, a featherweight bout. Liam McCourt taking on Janae Hollow Point Harding. Let's see. The Curse coming in at 4-1. Hollow Point coming in at 6-4. Now, McCourt is on a 4-fight win streak. Harding coming in off a win over Jessie Mealy 6 months ago, preceded by a TKO loss to Amanda Bell. McCourt last fought and got a decision win over Judith Ruiz a little over a year ago. McCourt is the elder fighter, 28 to Harding's 26. Both are tall ladies, 5'10", 178 centimeters for Harding to 5'8", 173 centimeters for McCourt. However, the reach is reversed here. 72 inch, 183 centimeters for McCourt 70-inch, 178 centimeters for Harding. I'll be honest, out of the two ladies featherweight bouts tomorrow night on this card, for me, this is the more intriguing. The main event, Cyborg versus Smith, which I'll get to in a couple minutes, to me, that's a blowout. I mean, there's no excitement in that one for me. So this one is way more intriguing. They're both, prospects. Harding doesn't have the best records at 6-4, but she faced, some stiff competition early on in her career that she probably wasn't ready for yet. I think most of her losses are on the ground, which out of Australia, you don't always get, the best of groundwork down there, particularly the wrestling. Both like to stand and strike. Both are okay-ish on the ground. Actually, Richard has a good question over here. Where did McCourt get her brown belt in BJJ? She looked kind of bad on the ground with Ruth. I believe out of SBG Ireland. That's who she trains for MMA with. Although she's actually from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, so I don't know if she does all of her work down there at SBG in Dublin. It'll be interesting. Harding's been more active recently than McCourt. Also, McCourt missed weight. She missed by, I think, like 2.5 pounds, came in at 148.5, something like that. This is her first fight outside of Europe. I think only maybe her third fight outside of Ireland. So, but definitely first fight outside of Europe. So it could be she wasn't used to the travel. It's a long way to fly and everything, and that can really mess. That literally does mess with your weight system. It can cause you to hold water and everything. But Harding made weight, looked good doing it. I mean, well, let's be honest here. Both of these ladies look good. I'm going to go with Janae Harding to win this one. I think she's got the momentum. She's trying to build the momentum here. I think she's better on the feet. She's shown some improvement on the ground. So I'm going to go with Harding here to hand McCourt her first loss in Bellator. Then at flyweight, Sumiko Inaba taking on Christina Katsakis. Both of these fighters coming in at 1-1. Inaba coming in off a win over in Bellator 7 months ago over Jessica Ruiz. Katsakis coming in off a win over Vanessa Marie Grimes a year and a half ago. So Inaba, more active recently. Both the same age, 30 years old. Let's see. No height or reach listed on Tapology for Katsakis. Inaba is listed as 5'4", 163 centimeters tall, and 64-inch, 163 centimeters in reach. This one's a pick'em for me. I mean, one's making her second fight. One's coming in off her first pro win in 2 fights. This is honestly just a pick'em. So I don't have a coin with me or else I'd toss it. So we'll go with Inaba to win. Why not? Then on the main card, and this one just got moved to the main card, Valerie Loreda coming in, taking on Hannah Guy. Master Loreda coming in 3-0. The Hurricane, Hannah Guy coming in at 2-1. Loreda last fought 8 months ago, defeating Tara Graf via knockout. A really sweet knockout. And then Hannah Guy coming in off a win over Vanessa Marie Grimes, same girl that Katsakis fought. So they're definitely fighting in that same, East Coast circuit there. Let's see. Guy is the elder fighter, 26-22. Stand the same height, 5 feet 4 inch, 163 centimeters. No reach listed on Tapology for Hannah Guy. Loreda coming in at 62.5 inch, 159 centimeters for her reach. I think this is going to go a lot like all of Loreda's previous 3 fights. I imagine Guy will come in and give Laredo some trouble, but not too much, en route to either probably a finish for Laredo. So, yeah, probably going to be a lot like Valerie Laredo's previous 3 fights. I mean, they're not going to give Valerie Laredo someone that they're really scared of losing to. They're trying to build her up right now. But I'll tell you what, she's ranked number – actually, I think this is old. I think she's moved up to number 9 or 8 now. This says number 9. But if she loses to some newcomer at number 8, that's it's going to make their ranking system look even more foolish than it already does. Richard says Naba is a huge favorite. Yeah, according to Tapology, she's at minus 550. So, yeah, she is a heavy favorite. And we got a special guest about to come in here. BJ. What's up, BJ? Welcome.
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm not echoing or anything, am I?
What's that?
I'm not echoing or anything, am I?
No, you're sounding good.
Okay. What's up, man? It's good to be here.
Good. Good. Just going into Bellator, about to move on to the main event here.
Yes, sir.
I haven't gotten to Invicta yet because I wanted to wait to see if you were coming in.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to the main event here. Cyborg versus Smith, number 2.
Woo.
Going to go ahead and read off the stats here. Cyborg coming in 23-2. The Peacemaker Smith coming in 12-8. Smith coming off a win over Amanda Bell 8 months ago. Before that, lost to Arlene Blencoe. Of course, Cyborg coming in on a 3-fight win streak. Last fought Arlene Blencoe 7 months ago. Let's see. Smith is actually the elder fighter, 38-35 for Cyborg, and is 1 inch taller, 5'9", 175 centimeters, to Cyborg's 5'8", 173 centimeters. And then Cyborg has the longer reach, though, 69-inch, 175 centimeters, to Smith's 66-inch, 168 centimeters. So the reach is reversed from the height. BJ, what are you picking?
You know, I think this 145-pound division over at Bellator, I'm all in with it. You know, I'm all in with the 145-pound division. Like, it seems to be something that's lacking in the UFC. We have 2 strong 145-pound divisions in Bellator and Invicta, so I'm excited about that. This being said, I think this is an exciting matchup. Leslie Smith has been doing her thing over in Bellator since she went there. You know, a lot of people talk about Bellator versus UFC, whatever. Fighting, for me, fighting is fighting, bro. And, you know, I think that Leslie Smith is in a much better place now to be fighting Chris Cyborg versus where she was before. Her body was acclimated to cutting to 135 pounds over and over in the UFC versus now. She's been fighting at featherweight. You know, she's much bigger. She's much stronger. I think Leslie Smith is a lot faster as well. Not saying, you know, whether it'll be enough to go in there and beat Cyborg, I'm not exactly sure about that. I was actually impressed with Arlene Blencoe in the fight with Cyborg. You know, even though the pressure and pace of Chris Cyborg, you know, became a little bit too much for Arlene Blencoe. You know, she showed that her boxing showed that she could stay in there. Leslie Smith, very tough, man. You know, I have to see it. Of course, my gut's telling me Chris Cyborg by devastating finish. But we would just have to see, man. You know, this is a fight that I have to see. Like, I'm curious to see, knowing that Leslie Smith has been in there already with Chris Cyborg. Like, how does Leslie Smith approach Chris Cyborg this time, you know?
Good questions. Personally, I think it's going to be Cyborg versus devastating finish. For me, I'd like to find the over-under on whether she lasts longer than she did the last time they fought. Last time they fought, it was
a while ago.
At UFC 198, minute and 21 seconds of the first round. So anything she gets past a minute and 21 seconds, she's already winning. Or at least she's already winning compared to the last time. But
how did you feel about the Bellator rankings? If you put a video out about that, then I definitely missed it. But how do you feel about the new ranking system with Bellator?
They've got to be ironed out. I do know someone who's on the rankings panel, I haven't given him any crap yet, just because I know he's not as deep into the ladies as he is like the guys.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely need ironed out, because I was just saying, Valerie Loreda's ranked at number 8, and if she comes in and loses to Hannah Guy, who's never fought in Bellator before, and she's only 3-0, and she's number 8, so if she loses to Hannah Guy, it's going to make their rankings look silly.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So that is it for Bellator. Let me move back into Invicta on AXS TV, the first Invicta event of the new era. We're going to go over this full card here. So first up, we got this fight's a late addition to the card. It lost 2 fights. It lost Emily Ducote versus Liz Tracy at 15. That was depressing, because that's like 2 fights in a row that fell through for Emily Ducote. And then Tanisha Tennant versus Hope Chase at 135, which would have been a rematch from the Phoenix series. And that was a little unsettling. Oh, to the viewers, before I go on, this is BJ of No Filter MMA, also Bloody Canvas MMA. But please go check his channels out later on. The No Filter name definitely applies.
Yeah, man. I have to kind of
language mostly clean, but as far as opinions go, there's no filter there.
I have to dial it back some on Bloody Canvas, because Bloody Canvas is more of like we're more of like a melting pot of different personalities, different views, etc. But on No Filter MMA, man, it's a no holds barred. Hey, Judy.
She's a regular.
Yes.
So first up at Invicta at flyweight, Elise Peace-Pone taking on the doll, Chrissy Yandali. Both are making their pro debut. Not a whole lot to go on with these two. They're both listed the same height, 5'8", 173 centimeters. Nothing else for Yandali. Elise Pone is 36 years old. I can't really say much about these two because I don't know anything about them.
Right.
I know Elise Pone is from State College, Pennsylvania, so I'm cheering for my fellow Pennsylvanian. That's all I can really say about this.
Oh, one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of like it's harder to go into detail about these lower level fighters, because places like Invicta are like proving grounds. That's how I look at them. It's like proving grounds. That's your gateway. That's definitely the gateway.
Yeah. So a couple of new additions to the roster, which honestly, with the way UFC was just picking Invicta apart, they need them. So
yeah,
they come out and put on a good performance.
Yeah.
So moving on down to strawweight, Fatima Klein taking on Ariana Melendez. Klein making her debut. Melendez coming in 1-0. No other stats available for Klein. Melendez is 25 years old. So this is another one. I think they're rebuilding. They trying to build their roster up.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see. Klein is listed as a slight favorite, -150 to +120 for Melendez on Tapology, but I think this is much like the last fight.
And this fight is at what? This fight is at strawweight. Yeah, this is. I mean, like if you go look at Klein's record, this girl's fighting at flyweight or strawweight, excuse me. And never mind. It was a grappler. I was looking at her record, and it shows a loss to Brittany Elkin, and I'm like, Brittany Elkin is getting ready to fight Portia Shields at 155 pounds. What were they doing? What were they doing in the octagon together? But it was a grappling match. I see. Not a lot of MMA fights for Klein. Most of her record consists of. I mean, actually, this might be her MMA debut. She doesn't have any MMA fights at all.
No, not listed on Tapology.
Yeah.
You never
interesting.
Know amateur.
Yeah, very interesting.
Now Melendez is 3-2 as an amateur and on a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah,
and then 1-0 as a pro. So she fought at Triton Fights just in March. So
yeah,
quick turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like she likes to, judging by her record, like I said, these are proven grounds. We don't know everything about these fighters. She looks to be pretty well-rounded. If you look at her amateur record, she's got some stoppage KO, TKO wins. She's got some decision wins. She's got a rear naked choke win. Her one professional fight was a win by a guillotine choke. So, I mean, we could be looking at a pretty well-rounded fighter in Ariana Melendez. Just judging by the record, on paper, she looks well-rounded.
Yeah, it could be. So, well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Then up at 125, moving up to flyweight, Josie Storts coming in at 2-0, taking on Maria Jose Favela, coming in also at 2-0. Now, Storts is undefeated, coming off a win a year and 8 months ago in Invicta over Helen Lucero. Favela last fought 6 months ago, and then 2 months before that. So she's been active more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Favela is 28 to Storts 22. Favela is the taller fighter, 5'7" to 5'4". But the reach, again, is reversed here, 68-inch, 173 centimeters for Storts to 65-inch, 165 centimeters for Favela. So what do you think, BJ?
I'm going to go with Favela. How do we say it? Yeah, Favela in this fight. I feel like she's. I mean, I've seen her fight. I'm trying to do some research on this card, man. I looked at some of her fights on YouTube. She hits pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of a fast starter. Hard punches. She's not really like a knockout artist. I didn't see her put anybody away. I did see her, just a lot of forward pressure, a lot of momentum. They were talking about her. Another podcast, I forgot who it was talking about this girl, which made me go do some research. And she looks promising, man. She's won all of her fights. She's had some cancel fights in there, but she's won all of her fights. I'm definitely gonna go with what's her name, Favela, in this fight.
Okay. So I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go with Storts here, the Invicta veteran, because I like me some submissions, and she is 2-0.
Oh yeah,
with the triangle choke.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Storts here. But if you notice, all of her submissions come in the first, or both of them rather, come within the first round. So if it goes past the first round, then it could definitely be Favela's win there.
Yeah. That makes me question, like, can she go into deep waters? Can she? How does she look out of the first round? It always kind of worries me when you see a lot of finishes in the first round. Like that it's kind of like, I mean, it looks good, but then there's, it raises questions,
Well, I agree, and I say that anytime a fighter gets hyped with a lot of first round finishes, I say, you show me a fighter with all first round finishes. My first question is, what do they do when they don't get the finish in the first round?
Right.
Because I mean, we see it recently with that Lian Na, the Chinese girl.
Yeah.
She's a front runner. Julia Avila. First time we saw her go past the first round, didn't look so good. I mean,
right.
She was still in the fight, but she had a hard time with what's her name?
Yep.
Sarge.
You're absolutely right.
Had a hard time with Sarge. So, but still, I mean, she didn't get a quick finish, and didn't turn out so good for her. So
Maria Agapova is another one.
Yeah.
A
lot of front runners out there. All right, so moving on, we're staying at flyweight. Juliana Killer Miller taking on Claire Grizzly Guthrie. Miller coming in undefeated, 2-0. Last fought in Invicta 5 months ago, winning via submission. Guthrie coming in 2-1. Last fought in LFA 4 months ago, collecting a win. Before that, she was 1-2 with Invicta. Let's see. No age given for Miller. Guthrie is 25 years old. Looks like Miller is the taller fighter slightly, 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'6", 168 centimeters for Guthrie. And then another one, the reach is reversed, 70 inches, 178 centimeters for Guthrie to 170 centimeters, 67 inches for Miller. So go ahead, BJ. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Miller, man. I like to see, when you see these up-and-coming fighters nowadays, when you look up their records, you see a lot of grappling matches like we've seen so far on this Invicta card, these girls competing in these grappling matches. And it looks like Juliana Miller has competed a bunch, and she's never lost a grappling match. And she's got grappling matches. Let's see, she on her pro record, not her pro MMA record, but her professional combat sports record, she's got 1, 2, 3. She's got 3 grappling matches that she's won them all. And she's won one of her MMA fights. Or actually, she's won both of her MMA fights by submission. So this girl looks to be bringing some Jillian Robertson flavor into Invicta and getting these girls out of here on the ground. So I'm going to have to go with Juliana Miller.
All right. I'm taking Miller too, particularly if it ends early. I'm going to go with Miller by sub. But she's another one. Both of her finishes have come within the first 3 minutes. I mean, her pro debut was 43 seconds, and then her Invicta debut was 2 minutes 49. So if it goes deeper, it could definitely favor Guthrie.
Yeah.
But I got to favor big submission wins.
Oh yeah.
Got you though. Got to bring up Jillian Robertson every time, don't you?
You already know the deal, man. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, you made it multiple fights in, so
they always give me the hell, man. So now I do it just to get on people's nerves.
I don't blame you. That's the type I am. If it ticks people off, I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely, 100%.
So we're moving into the co-main event, and we're continuing International Atomweight Month.
Yes,
with
sir.
the Atomweight Championship, the champ Alicia Half-Pint Zappatella taking on the challenger Jessica Del Boni. Zappatella coming in 8-2, coming off a win for the title over Ashley Cummins via Von Flue choke 7 months ago. Del Boni last fought and defeated Herica Tiburcio, I believe on that same card, but up at strawweight. Let's see, Del Boni 1 year the elder, 27-26. She's the taller fighter, 5'1", 155 centimeters to Zappatella's 4'11", 150 centimeters. And Del Boni brings in the reach advantage as well, 62-inch, 157 centimeters to Zappatella's 60-inch, 152 centimeters. So I'm going to take this one first. I'm going with Zappatella.
Yeah.
She's got that confidence coming in. Now, they both made weight, which is good because this is only Del Boni's second fight at atomweight, but she does have a win at atomweight before against, I believe it was, let me see, Lindsay Van Zant.
Yeah.
In Invicta. So she has a win over Van Zant. Both of them actually have a win over Van Zant, whereas Zappatella was split decision. The big thing here is there's 2 keys to beating Alicia Zappatella. You need takedown defense is the most important. But if you have a good jab and can keep her outside on the outside with the jab, you can stop her from even getting in close to takedown range. From what I've seen of Del Boni, her strikes, they're looping. I mean, she doesn't really tend to throw straight, punches too much. Now, I think she'll have the strength advantage, and she'll definitely be, most likely the heavier fighter. So that could be an advantage as far as the takedown defense. I mean, if she sprawls on Zappatella and puts all of her weight down, that could help a lot. But for me, it's the lack of a really good jab.
Yeah.
That has me picking Zappatella. And also, I don't know if you've watched any of Zappatella's interviews. She is just super confident coming into this. Like, she thinks, like, this is my time now.
She should be.
I'm the best. And, I mean, if you go by strictly atom weight as 105 pounds, then, yeah, she is number 1 right now at 105 pounds. So she's definitely earned that title. Do I think she's the best overall if you count, like, super atom weight and whatnot? No, but I think she's definitely earned that confidence. I mean, especially getting a Von Flue choke. I think might be the only girl to ever get a Von Flue choke in MMA. So I forget the stats. I know it's the only Von Flue choke in Invicta.
In Invicta, yeah.
Yeah, it might be the only women's Von Flue choke period in MMA. I could be wrong.
Let me look that up. Let me see if there's any other. I think that might be the one. I know there's been some attempts, but I don't think there's.
I mean, Google's not showing anything.
Google's not showing anything. Yeah. I think that you might be just about right, man. Because the one that it does show is the one that we're talking about.
Yeah, Capella over Ashley Cummings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got Ashley. I got Alicia Zappatella as well. You're right. The interviews, she's uber confident, man, because she's a champion now. It is what it is. She should come in with that kind of chip on her shoulder, if you ask me. I think that it's how a champion should be. She's going to defend this belt. The last atomweight champion, who was it? Jian Frey, right?
Yeah, Jian Frey, yeah.
Yeah. And then look at where Jian Frey is. I mean, she's fighting for her spot. She's in a situation where she's fighting for her spot, but she's there. She's in the UFC. She has that chance. It's up to Jian Frey what happens now. And I think Alicia Zappatella is looking for that kind of opportunity. She's got the look. She's got the attitude. She's got the microphone skills. She's got the skills. She's going to have to elevate to get into to keep up with the girls in the UFC, especially being forced to go up a weight class. But I think she'll be fine at 115 pounds. But she's fought some tough girls. I happen to know a little bit about Kelly D'Angelo. I don't know if you can remember, but a while back, Carrie Melendez had a fight in Bellator with Dakota Zimmerman, where she barely won that fight.
Right.
She barely won that fight. And I interviewed Dakota Zimmerman shortly after that fight, and I was like, "Yo, Dakota," and believe it or not, I can't find that footage of that fight anywhere. That fight vanished off of the website. Off of the internet. But Dakota Zimmerman trains with Kelly D'Angelo, and she accredited a lot of her ground game to Kelly D'Angelo. So to see a win over Lindsey Van Zandt, Ashley Cummings, Kelly D'Angelo, that's a solid Invicta winning streak. So she should be super confident coming into this fight.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah.
Before we move on here, I want to note that, this does continue International Atomweight Month that I've been covering. BJ, you're, free to cover it as well. It's an open book. But
yes,
this is a chance, I think, for Invicta with a fan favorite like Zappatella, who's got, the X factor, the charisma, the looks and everything. This is their chance, I feel, for me, in atomweight, after once the UFC stole half their strawweight division, I think that was the chance. The atomweight really became the marquee division for Invicta.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good champion for Invicta to continue building on that. I'm kind of disappointed that it's not the main event because she's a sitting champion.
Yeah.
But I understand the whole the higher weight class gets the higher billing thing. But
right.
I think if Zappatella wins this one, this is a good chance for Invicta to really start rebuilding their atomweight division around her.
Yeah. I totally agree. I totally 100% agree with that. She's a good face to have, and she's got the skills to back it up. Like I said, she's got all the other qualifications. She's got the look. She's got the microphone skills, and she's got the skills to back it up. So she could really benefit from being, this is I feel like it's a must win for Alicia Zapatella just to get on the recognition part of it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Then moving on to the main event, vacant flyweight championship. Karina Rodriguez taking on Diana Torquato. Rodriguez coming in 8-4, Torquato coming in 10-3. Now Rodriguez coming in off a failed title bid over the previous champ Vanessa Porto a year and a half ago. Torquato took a fight in some regional promotion, defeated UFC vet Sarah Frodo via split decision 7 months ago. Rodriguez, the elder fighter, 35 to 30 years for Torquato. The taller fighter as well, 5 feet 7 inch, 170 centimeters for Rodriguez to 5'5", 165 centimeters for Torquato. And then reach advantage as well for Rodriguez, 67 inch, 170 centimeters to Torquato's 65.7 inch, 167 centimeters. Go ahead and take this one, BJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Karina Rodriguez. Yeah, she lost that fight to Vanessa Porto, but it's Vanessa Porto. Vanessa Porto is a really, really good fighter. But I'm gonna have to go with Karina Rodriguez. I mean, she's been in there with Deanna. I mean, look at who she's lost to in her recent fights. I mean, she's only lost to Vanessa Porto, who was the champion, and then she lost to Deanna Bennett, who is a tough veteran, Ultimate Fighter veteran, fought in the UFC, has fought in title fights and Invicta, you know what I'm saying, like Deanna Bennett, and she's fought Deanna Bennett twice, and she avenged that loss. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, she's been in there with Milana Dudieva, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Deanna Bennett, Vanessa Porto. So I just feel like as far as like experience and being able to hang with good competition, she's fought. I mean, look at her losses, man. Look at all of her losses. Her first loss was to Alexa Grasso. Her second loss was to Poliana Botelho. Her third loss was to Deanna Bennett, which she avenged, and her fourth loss was to Vanessa Porto. So she's only losing. She's only losing to top level competition, and
3 UFC fighters and a Bellator fighter.
Right, and then one of those losses she's avenged. So for sure, I'm going to go with Karina Rodriguez here. I think she'll grab the belt. I think she'll bring the belt home for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with Rodriguez as well. I watched Torquato's 2, Invicta fights earlier today.
Yeah. And
I mean, they were both like 5 minutes or less because they were both in the Phoenix series too, the single rounds. But beat Dudieva via split, where they mostly fought in the clinch.
Right.
And then she tried to clinch up with Deanna Bennett, almost took her back there, and ended up getting choked out herself.
Right.
So her game seems to be very clinch heavy, which makes sense. I mean, her shirt, even though top in this picture says Thai Brazil, so she likes the clinch. One thing I noticed, though, she got absolutely stunned and wobbled by a Dudieva jab.
Yeah.
And coming in against a clean technical boxer like Karina Rodriguez, that could be a serious weakness with someone who throws, straight punches down the middle like Karina Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Rodriguez for the clean striking and the boxing. She's definitely going to want to avoid the clinch, though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Avoid the clinch, man, and just pump the jab. Like, use the jab. The jab is so important. Like, some people just don't realize, like, and I mean, like I said, I wrestled in high school. I wasn't like in any way striker, whatever. But when you watch the fights, man, and you watch different fights, if you cover the sports the way that we cover the sport, you notice things. Like, you notice things that work. And one thing that works is, a jab. A jab is it just does so many different things, man. And so many people underutilize the jab. So you're absolutely right with that statement.
Yeah, I mean, it is the most underutilized strike probably in MMA.
Right.
At least, I mean, everybody uses it, or most fighters use it, but you don't see too many that are just absolute masters of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think of like master of the jab in MMA, you think of like George St. Pierre, would just beat up on guys using nothing but a jab. I mean, he broke I can't think of his name right now, but broke a guy's eye socket and continued to beat up on him with nothing but a jab. Josh Koscheck.
Koscheck, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a good jab can do for you. And
Catlin Chukagian, Chukagian just
jab and her kick.
Right.
And Holly, too.
Oh, Holly and Joanna. I mean, there's a few girls that really, really can work a jab, man, and it spells a lot. Yeah, for sure. It means a lot. It sets up a lot. It can, if you use it correctly, it can do damage. That's really that's kind of the route I was expecting Megan Anderson to take against Amanda Nunes, and Megan just did not throw a jab. Did not at all.
Yeah. Well, she came in there frightened out of her mind.
I think so too, man.
Jacob Noski saying what's up?
Jacob, what's up, man? Shout out to Throwing Hands Podcast, Bloody Canvas MMA. That's our boy Jacob, the youngest member. Oh.
So welcome, Jacob. And so now we're moving on to UFC Vegas 27.
Woo! Big stuff here, man.
Featherweight.
Big stuff here.
Felicia Spencer taking on Norma Dumont. So Phenom coming in at 8-2. Last fought, dropped the decision to Amanda Nunes a little under a year ago. The Immortal coming in 5-1, coming off a win over Ashley Evans Smith 5 months ago. Before that, took a loss to Megan Anderson. Let's see, they're the same age, 30 years old. Dumont's actually slightly taller than Spencer, 5'7", 169 centimeters to 5'6", 168 centimeters. And following tonight's trend, the reach is slightly reversed. 68-inch, 173 centimeters for Spencer to Dumont's 67-inch, 170 centimeters. So I'll take this one first. I'm going to go with Spencer to win this one. I think Dumont is being underrated here, but she's got some decent hands, and she's not small for a featherweight at all. They tried to get her down to bantamweight. I think she just outgrew it.
Ain't working.
Yeah. But I got to go with Spencer here. I know a lot of people are worried. She took those beatings against Cyborg and Nunes. But, I mean, she overall just has the better body of work. I mean, her striking's more flash than anything, and she uses it to set up the takedowns more than anything.
Right.
I mean, once she gets a fight to the ground, it's usually over pretty easily.
Yeah.
Unless you're Cyborg or Nunes.
Right.
I'm going with Spencer to win this one.
Yeah, man. And I picked Felicia Spencer to. I picked Felicia Spencer to go in there and give Amanda Nunes problems. I did, because I was like, that scrappy style has shown to be somewhat of a problem for Amanda Nunes in the past. Everybody talks about that Kat Zingano fight. That's still very possible. That's a very possible outcome in a fight with Felicia Spencer and Amanda Nunes. But Amanda Nunes has gotten to a point, and she's grown to a point where she can stop you from doing that to her. Like, she can avoid that from happening. And it showed in the Felicia Spencer fight. Felicia Spencer was relentless on takedown attempts. She went for them the entire fight. Yeah. But in this fight with Norma Dumont, man, I just feel like with Norma, the showing that she had against Megan Anderson was just a bad night for Norma Dumont. It was, you're talking about a girl that was 4-0. She's in the UFC against one of the hardest, if not the hardest hitting featherweight in the world when in there with Megan Anderson. But what we saw in the Ashley Evans Smith fight was a completely different Norma Dumont. Like, we're talking a completely different Norma Dumont, bouncing on her feet, light on her toes, versus the Megan Anderson fight. She was very pedestrian, very slow, flat-footed. After those clinch exchanges, she was literally standing in front of Megan Anderson and not moving. So all Megan had to do was throw a punch, and down goes Norma Dumont. I feel like if Norma Dumont, because now people are going to say, Felicia Spencer's grappling, yeah, it's really good, but so is Norma Dumont's grappling. Norma Dumont's grappling is really good if you go watch some of her older fights. The problem with Felicia Spencer is, like, I feel like when you're fighting somebody who can hit you the way that Norma Dumont hits you, you have to have something to fire back. You have to have some kind of power to answer the type of things that Norma Dumont can hit you with. And I feel like that's where Felicia Spencer is going to struggle a lot with some of these girls, especially if they decide to build this 145-pound division. Spencer's going to struggle with the power side of things. And Norma Dumont I just feel like Norma's going to go after Felicia Spencer. She's going to try to hurt Felicia Spencer. And I feel like it's very possible that Norma Dumont can go in here and beat Felicia Spencer. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to go Norma Dumont.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Norma, man. She's just, if we see the same Norma that fought Ashley Evans Smith, Felicia Spencer can have a tough time with her in there. Okay. And it worries me for girls like that. Worries that what I was talking about, Felicia Spencer's power. It worries me about, fighters like Kunitskaya. Kunitskaya is one of the same type of, not the same type of fighter, but her striking is very good, very accurate, very sharp, but there's not a lot behind it. And it kind of worries me for them going into fights with people like Jermaine or people like Amanda or, Irene Aldana, people that can really crack and hit these girls hard. And I feel like Norma may overwhelm Felicia Spencer with power, It's
a good thought. So odds here, let's see, according to Tapology, Spencer's the slight favorite at -160 to Dumont's +125. So not that far off of even. So I don't know if people, are high on Dumont. Maybe people just are losing faith in Spencer because of the loss to Cyborg and Nunes. I'm not sure Best fight odds, I just looked it up, has Spencer at -170, whereas Dumont, the best odds are at +165. The lowest is going to be, looks like +135. So pretty similar as well.
Yeah.
And that's from Sports International. So,
yeah. What do you think about the matchup itself?
I like it. I mean, UFC doesn't really have a featherweight division, so they got to, I guess they're just going to try to fill out these girls' contracts, and then But I mean, the matchup itself is good. I mean, Dumont's a little less experienced than Spencer, but I mean, it's not like Spencer has that many fights. I mean, she has 10 fights to 6. It's just that Spencer's more well known because she came up, through Invicta.
Yeah.
And got those high profile fights.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man. I agree. But I think that the odds are what they are because the odds are a little closer than one would think they would be with Norma being 1-1 in the UFC. I think it's just because the way she went out there and approached that fight with Ashley Evans Smith, like, for me, it blew me back, man. I don't know if it blew you back because I was expecting to. I mean, Norma Dumont looked the exact same way in that Megan Anderson fight as she looked in all her other fights before the UFC. Like, everything that's on YouTube, that's how Norma Dumont looked. So coming into the fight with Ashley Evans Smith, I expected that. And then she come out there and just punished Evans Smith for 3 rounds. And I was just like, okay, somebody's doing something with Norma Dumont. Like, like somebody's getting her right or something, because that ain't the same fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she definitely looked good. I mean, she took it to Evan Smith. So
yeah.
So I do like the odds. So moving on to the co-main event. Moving all the way down to strawweight, though.
Let's
Yan
go.
Xiaonan or Xiaonan Yan whatever your preference is, taking on Carla, the Cookie Monster Esparza.
Or Esparza Carla, however you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, Jan coming in 13-1. Esparza coming in 17-6. Jan undefeated in the UFC. She's like, what, 6-0 in the UFC now?
Yeah.
And Esparza on a nice 4-fight win streak. Esparza last defeated Marina Rodriguez via split. Jan defeated Claudia Gadelha via unanimous decision. Esparza's the elder fighter, 33 to Jan's 31. Jan, of course, is going to have the height advantage, 5'5", 166 centimeters to Esparza's 5'1", 155 centimeters. But the reach is evened up here, 63-inch, 160 centimeters. So I'm going to take this one first. I actually just published my preview for this one, like right before I went live. I went with Esparza, largely based off of Jan versus Gadelha, where Gadelha was able to take her down pretty easily in the first and keep her there. But then typical Claudia Gadelha just could not keep her down. So that was the big question going into that fight was, how is Jan going to do against someone who can take her down? And how does she react off of her back? Of course, she outlasted Gadelha's gas tank and picked her apart on the feet from there. But the big difference here is, Esparza doesn't get tired at the same rate that Gadelha does. I mean, Gadelha, she's at the point where she's like 3/4 of a round, and then she's done. Whereas Esparza can usually at least get it to like the 3rd round before she starts tiring, depending on how much work she's put in.
Right.
And Esparza is not going to give up on the takedowns the way Gadelha does when she gets tired.
Right.
So, I mean, we have a relentless forward-moving striker versus a relentless takedown machine. That's why I took Esparza.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it could easily go the opposite way. Jan could just start, blasting Esparza on the feet with volume. And we've seen how Esparza reacts to volume. Like, she's never acted very well to getting hit at all. And she tends to survive the big hits. Like, Rodriguez cracked her hard a few times. But she tends to survive those. But it's the volume that she has a hard time against. And obviously, the best example of that is the Joanna fight, whereas Joanna answered the takedown question by staying on the outside and just launching volume at her. Whereas no other fighter, even no other strikers have been able to do that against her.
And Tatiana Suarez just overwhelmed her just beat her so bad on the ground,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jan could take the win here. If she does, I think it would be like a TKO by volume or probably decision. But I got to go with Esparza on this one. I just think she's going to be able to get the takedowns for at least 2 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to go Esparza. Go ahead. My bad.
Keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, like it's just like Carla Esparza is coming in like a damn boulder, just with all this momentum rolling downhill. She beat Verna Jandiroba. You know what I'm saying? Verna had a lot of momentum coming in. Alexa Grasso, you see how well she's doing at flyweight right now. Very good striker, best boxing. Some of the best boxing across both of those divisions. She's beat Michelle Waterson, but for me, I feel like the biggest win of recent Carla Esparza is the Marina Rodriguez fight, because people, even after taking that loss to Carla Esparza, people are still high on Marina Rodriguez. She knocks out Amanda Ribas, and then she wins this last fight she was in. So Marina Rodriguez has a ton of momentum, and her striking is pretty good. She's a one-punch knockout. She has that kind of power. She can land that power. If she lands that power, it can be a short night for anybody. She beats Michelle Waterson. But, Carla is just too good. Carla has way too many skills. And I think the only reason a lot of people were really pushing Yan Xiaonan like that, like, I like Yan, but I think people really wanted to see the Wei Li Zhang fight and wanted to see those two fight each other. I think that was the biggest thing there. But people just have completely dismissed have completely dismissed Carla Esparza out of, any serious type of conversation when it comes to the best in that division. Like, people forget about Carla Esparza. And I'm like, how do you forget Carla Esparza? You know what I'm saying? Like, Carla, everyone thought Carla was about to get knocked out by Rodriguez, and Carla overcame the adversity. You know what I'm saying? Her chin held up, and she worked her takedowns. And if Claudia Gadelha can take Jan down, you know what I'm saying, Carla Esparza is a much better grappler, I think, than Claudia Gadelha. Her wrestling is much better. Carla be able to hold this girl down and could possibly, work for a submission or some ground and pound. I think that'll be a big thing in this fight, is if Shanann can stop the takedowns.
Yeah,
and Carla's her striking's gotten a lot better as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, she's no K1 fighter, but it's definitely she's improved it enough to stay relevant. I mean, more than relevant. I mean, she's a contender still.
Right.
So, I mean, top 4 in the division.
And I thought she won the fight with Gadelha, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think the biggest strike against Esparza is that all of her wins lately have just been like super close.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let me see. You got, out of her last 4 recent wins, you have a unanimous decision against Jandiroba, who I think was like unranked or very low ranked at the time.
She had just came in, I think.
Yeah. But still, she was able to out wrestle and out grapple a very good BJJ artist with decent wrestling. Beat Grasso. A lot of people were picking Grasso to win. Beat Watterson, and then a lot of people underestimate Watterson. And then a lot of people really just, wrote her off against Rodriguez, and then she beat Rodriguez. But those last 2 wins were, you got a unanimous decision, a majority, and then 2 splits.
Right.
So her fights are close. So a lot of people just don't want to give her credit because her wins, they say, well, they could have gone either way. It's like she still won.
Right. She still won those fights. Yeah. And then she just got tons of experience, man. And now that Rose is the champion again, now everybody's talking about, how would the rematch with Carla and Rose go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that story writes itself, man.
Yeah, like we got to see that.
Yeah, the rematch of the inaugural strawweight title fight.
Right.
Fighter 20.
Right. Yes. Throwback.
Yeah. They're definitely different fighters from then, especially Rose is a much more calculated fighter, a lot more polished.
Yes, sir.
Of course, she has avoided wrestlers since Carla Esparza, so
she sure has.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
she's avoided that. She's avoided that a lot. Yeah.
One thing I like about Yan Xiaonan, though, in comparison, because like you said, everyone wants to see the Yan versus Zhang fight. A lot of people were really hyped on Zhang Weili, and I think Zhang got the much faster and bigger push than Yan did, even though Yan was in the UFC first.
Right.
Just based off of, 1 or 2 big finishes. But, Yan came in, she started at the bottom and, started working her way up. Her first 3 fights were against unranked fighters, and then they put her in against Angela Hill.
Yep.
Beat Hill. Absolutely smashed Carolina in a way that, like, the only other person that smashed Carolina like that was Andrade.
Andrade.
And then she faced a really good grappler in Gadelha, which she answered the wrestling test against that one, or at least somewhat answered the wrestling test, whereas Zhang never had to answer the wrestling test.
Well, I think that Zhang and Yao Xiaonan and Weili Zhang both didn't fight an important fight. And, you're probably going to frown at me for saying this, but I feel like, neither one of them fought Mackenzie Dern, So, but somebody – go ahead.
Their streaks were ahead of Dern, though. Like, Dern only just took, like, a couple of, like, really quick fights within the last year, whereas, like, Zhang was cruising ahead way before Dern, and then Yan as well. So, Dern only had a really fast climb this past year.
Right. That's a fight I want to see, though. I think Mackenzie Dern I think she beats everybody in the top 5 except for Joanna Jędrzejczyk. To be honest, I'm just gonna be 100%. I think she beats Rose. I think she beats Zhang. I think she beats Carla. I think the only one that she doesn't beat is Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I think that's the biggest worry for me. And I would have said Tatiana Suarez, but Suarez is going to 125 pounds, so that kind of takes Suarez out. But I think Mackenzie Dern, man. I mean, it's hard for me. The punches and the submission game is just it's I don't know. It's interesting.
She's. I mean, I've only recently come around on Mackenzie Dern. I mean, obviously your striking still needs work and her takedowns still need work. The fact that she is willing to just wade in, throwing heat, zero fear. You know, like a lot of people were calling Suarez, you know, the female Habib, but Dern strikes more like Habib, in that she throws heat and she's not afraid because she knows if she can get within and get it to the ground, she's good. So if she takes a couple punches on her way in, she's to do it. You know, she'll do it.
I think that's what we need to see from Tatiana Suarez. I don't know if you follow on social media, but dude, she's been doing a lot of striking. You know, and that's what, especially going to 125, that's what we need from Tatiana. Tatiana has to know how to strike at 125. Like, she's just gonna have to be solid and confident in her striking to survive at 125. Yeah,
well, it's definitely there's a few more grapplers I'd say at 125 than 115, but you also got fighters, a lot of them coming down from 135, and they've already, you know, honed and perfected their takedown defense. So,
well, Tatiana gonna test it. She gonna test it.
Best chain wrestling out of all the ladies. So,
and I bet you some of these wrestlers at 125, they're gonna tune it up. I mean, I think the best pure wrestler at 125 is De La Rosa as far as just pure wrestling. But even, you know, the jiu-jitsu girls at 125 are gonna, you know, and of course Valentina, but these girls are gonna have to step it up, dude, because Tatiana Suarez is almost kind of like an unstoppable force. Like when it comes to her on top of you and her blasting double legs and, you know, single legs and picking you up and slamming you down, like, oof. Good luck.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So that's honestly, that's all. Oh, you know what? I do have a couple more things I want to talk about. So of course it's still International Atomweight Month. We got Alicia Zapatella going to defend her title tomorrow night, but next week, the big one championship. Empower got the ladies atomweight tournament popping off. First all ladies event for one championship, really in any like major MMA promotion. First all ladies event. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a fight companion for it or not. I did take the day off just so I could get up and watch this one.
Yeah.
Of course, still waiting on an official announcement. Munbo, I guess she has a new opponent, but we'll have to see. I'll tell you what, though. The one that's being undersold is this title bout between Sion Jinan and Michelle Nicolini. I don't know how much you follow one championship.
Yeah.
But I feel like obviously the Grand Prix is taking all the thunder, but this title bout is going to be really good. You got the boxer in Sion versus Nicolini, the BJJ world champ. So,
you know, that's my favorite, man.
Like Mackenzie Dern. And then this kickboxing bout, that's going to be fire too. Nissa Mexon, excited for her debut.
Yeah, that strawweight fight. You're right about that, man. I saw where they were talking about that. the one people were talking about that, and I went and of course, like I always go, and there's somebody I don't really know much about. Like I go back and I watch their previous fights, and Michelle Nicolini's Brazilian like her jiu-jitsu, dude, like you probably know by watching my channel, I love a grappler. Like that's my favorite. Like that's my favorite type. And Michelle Nicolini, she's that type. You know what I'm saying? Great BJJ. Her takedowns are good. Mackenzie Dern could learn to put the takedowns together like that. But Michelle Nicolini, she's there, man. Like this is a really classic striker versus grappler.
Yeah. Did you watch Nicolini's bout with Angela Lee?
Yes.
Yeah, took it to the ground fighter in Lee, and outworked her. Won the, I think it was a decision, but that was a good fight.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But can't wait. Atomweight tournament. My favorite fighter, Sahi Hams, in this one, so I'm excited for that one. There's a lot of good bouts to look forward to here.
Isn't isn't she the one with like the really long reach advantage, like the really long arms?
No, that's Elise Anderson is the tallest fighter in this one right now. So
no. I'm talking about the one fighter who has like there used to be a fighter in the UFC that was a Asian female that had like the freakishly.
That's Ji-yeon Kim.
Is it Ji-yeon Kim? Yeah, it is Ji-yeon Kim. Yeah. With the crazy long arms.
Yeah, let me find her reach real quick here. She's fighting Molly McCann in like July or September.
Yeah.
Fire Fist. Yeah, 5'7", 170 centimeters, but her reach is 72-inch, 183 centimeters.
So crazy, dude. That is so crazy.
God. I don't. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to use it either, which frustrates the heck out of me. It
kills me, dude. It freaking kills me. Like
you're a boxer. You're primarily boxing, and you don't use your reach to your advantage. Like her last fight against Grasso. Well, Grasso, she was slower than her too. But it's like, how do you not know how to use your reach? It's like,
and she doesn't pump a jab.
No.
I'm like, Kim, you gotta be. You got the. Oh my God! Like, pump a jab. But go ahead.
Her last fight, she was working with some goofy like movement coach or something, and I don't know. Like she was moving around between camps. Like she wasn't with one primary camp. So I think that hurt her. Like lately, I know she's been rehabbing her arm at the Performance Center in Vegas and working at Syndicate. So hopefully that helps her out a bit because they got a bunch of ladies there. So
But
yeah, she had a 6-inch reach advantage on Alexa Grasso and didn't utilize it at all. Never mind the
6 inches.
Grasso had.
6-inch reach advantage at flyweight.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's but I love Ji-yeon Kim though. I do. She's a brawler. She likes to fight. My dream fight is Ji-yeon Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Like that's my dream fight.
That'd be a good one. She's taking on Meatball Molly McCann though, so that's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, Molly gonna get beat up though.
She's got 10 inches of reach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Molly.
Poor Molly.
I don't know. Molly's been showing some improvement though.
She has. She's been blasting double legs.
Yeah.
Excited.
But Ji-yeon Kim has one of the best gifts of any female fighter though. When she took on Nadia Kassim and Kassim faked the glove touch, and Ji-yeon Kim was like stepped out, dropped her.
She dropped Nadia Kassim, dude. Speaking of Nadia Kassim, she has reemerged on social media. When she got cut by the UFC, she disappeared off of social media, and now she's
suicidal.
Yeah,
but now Anthony she's doing personal training, I guess.
Yeah, man. I think that sucks for Nadia, man. She she probably went through some stuff getting cut from the UFC. Poor thing, but I feel like there's some fighters that should have gotten one more chance to prove themselves. I mean, look at what One More Chance did for Priscilla Cachoeira. Now she's on a 2-fight finishing streak. I think Nadia Kassem and Lucia Pudilova both should have gotten another shot at another fight in the UFC for sure.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Pudilova off another win.
Yeah, because she's racking them up.
Yeah,
outside of the UFC. Yeah, she's racking them up. So yeah, I would love to see Pudilova come back for sure.
Yeah. Well, Priscilla Cachoeira, they owe her a contract in perpetuity, just based on giving her to Valentina in her debut. That was just wrong.
Yeah.
That was wrong. They didn't set her up to lose. They set her up to get slaughtered.
Yeah, man, and they only did that. I think they only did that. I think there was motive behind doing that because they were trying to go with the whole narrative that nobody wanted to fight Shevchenko. Like they were the UFC they took that narrative and hold on. They took that narrative and they ran with it. Oh, nobody wants to fight Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah. When I have hardcore proof of at least 4 to 5 flyweights that were already in the division, who already had wins in the division, saying, hey, hello, I'll fight her. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a call, I'll fight her.
Yeah, I think Lauren Murphy was one of them.
Lauren Murphy was one of them. Jennifer Maya was one of them. I think that when Nico when Nico pulled out of that fight. No, it wasn't Nico. Was it Nico? It might have been Nico. Yeah. Anyways, and it was Lauren Murphy, Jennifer Maya. They were in Dallas, and Montana De La Rosa lives in Dallas. And she tagged the UFC. She's like, "Hey, I'm in Dallas. I live in Dallas. I'm ready to bang. Let's go." And then all of a sudden, here comes Priscilla Cachoeira, and I'm like, what was the purpose behind that? But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, they owe her forever for that one.
Oh yeah.
And then they blamed it all on Mario Yamasaki, like, oh, Yamasaki, he'll never ref again. It's like, well, you made the fight, and you made it.
Yes, yeah, y'all made the fight.
Yeah, everybody that watched Cachoeira's fights from Brazil leading into that were like, wow, she's slow, she's plodding, she's got heavy hands, but she's slow, she's plodding, she's getting to get slaughtered.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. Like she's got one trick, and that's throwing hooks. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. Like that's what you get from Cachoeira. You don't get no ground game. You don't get no jab. You get hooks, and that's it. And yeah, they made that fight. They did that and blamed it on Yamasaki, and it is what it. Instead of giving Valentina a flyweight, you know what I'm saying, like the ones that were named that had been in there, that have more than one tool, that know how to grapple, that know how to strike. You gave her a girl from Invicta. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
So it is what it is with that. But I'm definitely excited, man. I appreciate you bringing me on here tonight.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad you came on.
Yeah.
You're actually the first guest I've had on the regular show, so.
Oh yeah, nice. Well, I'm gonna definitely have to get you on over to No Filter MMA, man. Get you talking some shit.
All right. That's really all I have for tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. So everyone watching, if you haven't yet, hit the like button. Got to smash that like button. Share the stream. That's how the channel grows. And go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the most complete women's MMA platform on YouTube. And we'll see you next time. Go ahead and hold on a second, BJ.